Hello, folks, and welcome to the Bucharest Minor. That's right, we are here. We did miss game one. There was a few technical issues, a little bit of miscommunication, but we are back and ready to get underway with game two between Ninjas and Pyjamas and Vega Squadron. Of course, I am KillerPigeon, and joining me on the mic, he's back, you know, major to minor. Most people would say that's not an upgrade, but it's consistency. It's Nahaz.
What's going on? Good morning, guys. Sorry for what's probably going to be terrible mic quality here for game one. I got into this at the very last minute. I woke up 5 minutes ago, and yeah. So we're good. Not surprisingly, PA first pick. This hero had a 70% win rate in the major qualifiers. It's absolutely ridiculous. It got... What was the nerf? Like 10% ult damage or something ridiculous like that?
Oh, yeah, it was like
20% could have got everyone. 230% to 210% at level 1. I don't think that's going to do it.
No, I think the problem usually comes around the level 2 ultimate, which I think lost 10% as well, but it's like, whoop-de-doo, who cares? It's still gonna hit you in the face like a bag full of iron. It's just...
Yeah, I think... I mean, I think what everybody underestimated was just how much this new blur was going to impact the hero in terms of not just in terms of farming efficiency. I mean, the hero is ridiculous in terms of its jungle farm. You know, anytime you can farm the jungle without losing HP, that's huge. And one of the things we forget, and it's played into a lot of these discussions of game flow that we've had, is that the jungle gold got buffed. And that's partly why, you know, the games feel a lot faster, and it's partly why, you know, Terrorblades and Animages, when they get left alone for even a couple minutes, feel like they're just dominating in this patch.
Exactly, and it's also because you can farm without taking any damage, you don't have to build any regen, really. You can just go straight damage.
That's exactly right.
But
Rubik, another hero that I rate very, very highly in this patch. The Arcane Supremacy is huge. I mean, we saw what Yapsor was able to do against Liquid in terms of, you know, you get this duration, which means that you can lift into things like, guaranteed lift into things like Cold Feet, and every other stun is going to benefit from that as well.
there is a thing to highlight here, though, Alan. Last game, I caught a little bit of it. Ninjas and Pyjamas, they were actually playing the Rubik mid and the Beastmaster as a support for. So we might see the aggressive Rubik. It actually dominated the Shadow Fiend. By the end of the laning phase, he had 2 solo kills on the Shadow Fiend.
Oh yeah, Rubik is going to win a lot of these mid matchups. I mean, there's a reason that players like Miracle have wanted to play this hero mid for, you know, a long time. It wins a lot of lanes. The problem is, as we saw in a couple of the games that we cast, the transition, right? You, as a Rubik, you're always going to be killable, and so you need that really hard core to pair that Rubik with.
Absolutely. And of course, we are going to see the Lich coming out, which is another very popular pick at the moment, ever since they made the change, giving them the gaze. Well, that, and of course the Frost Shield. You can't underestimate the Frost Shield. Frost Shield early, gaze later on, when you just want to go for those solo kills with a Chain Frost.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the hero is just a lot more fun to play since the rework. And the Frost Shield, as you said, it trades very early in lane. It's a very efficient spell, which sort of offsets the fact that the hero is now very mana-hungry without sacrifice. And yeah, I mean, you know, the gaze is kind of a poor man's shackles, maybe even a rich man's shackles, because it does have that very small repositioning element, which allows you to sort of draw the enemy hero forward.
Yeah, no, it depends on the scenario, but of course, we've talked about it before. Positioning is very important, even more so early on in the laner phase, where if you do take an early point in gaze, you drag someone into the creep wave, they can't actually attack you because they'll just aggro the whole creep wave. And well, I'm surprised that he got through the second phase of bans here.
Well, if it's the who can pick the more OP heroes contest, Vega is ahead 2-1, maybe 2-2. I mean, Lich is very good, although I don't think he's quite as good as we thought in the early days of 7-2-0. But Dazzle really is. I mean, we saw him at Tumberman's core Dazzle, and you know, the support Dazzle he's at least as good, if not better, than he was in the last patch. We've seen how how efficient Poison Touch is for harassing, for contesting pulls, just as a utility spell in lane for this Dazzle. But when you add the element of the core, getting a flat cooldown reduction from Bad Juju, which is, it got nerfed a little bit, but you know, you go Necro 1 early and build into items like Greaves and Pipe for sustain, and this Dazzle is just keeping the whole team alive.
Absolutely is. And now, speaking of not caring about being dead or alive, because he just comes back anyway, the Wraith King pick coming through, which can actually combo the Lich pretty nicely with the Frost Shield plus the stun, so you can get in range to actually get that damage.
And this is a signature of Peter, too, where going into the 5th pick, right, you got this Rubik that can be core or support, okay? And it looks more likely that it's support at this point, but if Rubik and Wraith King are both cores, this has the potential to be a very, very fast lineup, where if you pivot in the last pick and you put the Rubik as a support and pick something, you know, an ultra hard carry like an Anti-Mage, it has the potential to play much slower, but still have a very nice degree of control throughout the mid game in terms of overall tempo. So Vega have to be a little bit careful here not to overcommit themselves.
Yeah, it's like he's probing to see if they want to go late or early, and based on that, he can actually flex with his final pick.
Yeah, and that's where the Dazzle 3rd pick has a lot of value for Vega, because you can still pivot at the very end. Your Phoenix and Sand King can be your 4 and 5 position heroes to sort of have the chance to answer what NiP is doing. But it's very significant now. NiP does have the last overall pick.
Yeah, that's always the catch. That's why you saw Peter do this the way he has. As you said, he can now just pivot either way. He forces his opponent to choose their timing. I feel like they've given away a lot already, actually. I can't see this being a Sand King support. Just, it feels with the new Sandstorm, it's very hard to be in the lane and not be taking CS away from your own core.
Yeah, I haven't seen much 4-position Sand King in the new patch. I think that's right. I think my guess here is that we're just going to see the 2 mids come out. I don't think either of these teams is going to be interesting. I mean, it's got to be said, we haven't hit on this yet. This is such a ridiculously competitive qualifier. Yeah, and you see, you know, NiP banning out the Shadow Fiend. I think you're going to see probably a mid ban coming out here from Vega. But this is such a competitive qualifier when you talk about 4 teams that really all 4, if they make it, could have a chance to do damage at the major, and you only get one that's going to be able to. You only get how many from each region is it now? 2?
Some regions are 2, some regions are 1, I think.
So EU surely is a 2-team region.
I believe so, yeah.
But it's going to be absolutely ridiculous between 4 of these 6 teams. Arguably have a good chance to do damage at the major if they get to the minor and qualify.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the schedule now.
Interesting Tinkerband. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
It should be 2 European teams, 2 Chinese teams, 1 SEA, 1 CIS, 1 South American, and 1 North American. But there's definitely a lot of people that could still friend. NiP were the big surprise to not qualify. A lot of people would have expected them to after their performance at KL. But here they are, having to find a backup option at the same time. Like we said, there are other people. Vega aren't a squad you can underestimate. They almost managed to take game 1 from NiP.
Okay. Like I said, I woke up 5 minutes ago. I had no chance to see that game. The Timbersaw pick is very good here, obviously, with 2 strength heroes showing on the side of NiP.
Oh, hello, NiP. They pull out the Meepo.
And that, you know what? I wonder with the Timbersaw pick if Vega had an inkling that was coming.
Quite possibly. Timbersaw, though, he handles Meepo okay. I won't say okayish, but with the change to the passive now for Meepo, he can sustain himself a lot more against that burst. Especially in the early levels. Like, later on, don't get me wrong, you can still nuke down a Meepo if he has a bad start, but if you're going to lane this up against him, which it doesn't look like they're going to go for the Phantom Assassin up against the Meepo.
Well, we'll see. I remember Ace can shift very, very readily between mid and safe lane with his Meepo. I've seen him play it in both positions.
That is true. Although I think Wraith King, ever since the changes to Wraithfire Blast and it being weaker in terms of damage output for mana investment.
Okay. Yeah. They're definitely not going to put Fada mid on this Wraith King. All right, fair enough.
It used to be feasible, but yes, ever since the nerfs and the tweaks, it's like this hero doesn't really handle mid at all.
I thought, depending on what you wanted to do here, I thought you could actually have shifted the Wraith King to the 3 position and put Fada mid on the Rubik, but that's fine.
Yeah, and then have the Beastmaster 4 like they done last game. Yeah, there's definitely options. They want to prioritize this Wraith King, though, which is kind of understandable. You know, your big fat core is going to come back to life. It means he's not a great target for the Phantom Assassin.
We got Lich set, by the way. Is that the new chest?
That's the new one. It looks like something from Lord of the Rings, right?
That's amazing. Yeah, it absolutely looks like a NahazGul. That's so cool.
There you go. See, Alan, you got to get up to date. Get all your new cosmetics going.
Oh man, I'm telling you, these guys are ahead of me. Now, I like this Meepo pick, but I think it reminds me of a game that we did just the other day. It's not a GG Meepo pick, I don't think.
No, absolutely not, because people always assume you need this big AoE, which you do actually have on Vega, in fairness. But people seem to forget, like, if you have a lot of burst for one target, you can bring them down, and you have the Queen of Burst right now because of PA with 1 or 2 crits, and you're just gone.
Well, I think it's what I don't think people talk about enough with Meepo is just the ability to threaten multiple clones. I think when you can really only threaten, people talk about burst against Meepo, and it's absolutely a valid point. But the fact is, when you can only really threaten one clone at a time, it becomes easier for the Meepo player to execute his positioning. Where when you have these abilities, like coming out from the Sand King, coming out from the Timbersaw, when you can get multiple clones low, and then you have that really huge physical burst coming into PA that can strike any of the clones that are low, the Meepo player's positioning in these fights becomes a lot more difficult.
I mean, more so than that, it's just the lockdown. If you've got AoE lockdown, for example, the Sand King here, especially with the change to the passive, because Meepo, you know, if you can only stun one, then the others can keep him alive because of the way Ransack works now.
Right.
Definitely.
Right, that's absolutely true. AoE control is such a crucial factor now. I don't know that it's weird to me that I've seen, you know, half a dozen or so Meepo games that I held between casting with you and watching some of these replays. Ransack doesn't have the impact in these games that I thought. Now, part of that is just a lot of AoE control being picked against the hero in these matches. I mean, the hero does have, like, still after a couple of rounds of new patches here, this hero still has like a 52% win rate in pubs, which is insane for Meepo.
Oh,
like
I agree.
I mean, Meepo's win rate in pubs is usually freaking awful, even with all the boosters that are using these heroes.
I think, from my perspective, the way I look at it is Ransack is very good early on. It kind of loses its effect later, though, right? Like, you look at the damage and you see it's pure, it's not too bad. Heals you up, but once you get to, like, you know, 30, 40 minutes in these games and people hit for 200, 300, 400 damage, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, that's true. It just comes from the way it scales, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, level 8, you know, level 18 damage health steal is great, but it's not going anywhere.
It's kind of surprised.
Do you know whether that interacts with Spellamp?
I'm not sure, actually. It possibly could. Like, it should.
I think it should, but again, it's when you attempt to apply logic to Dota mechanics, yeah, it's tough.
Well, it's like, isn't there a bunch of things that have, for example, like Ursa's Fury Swipes, like the variables register Spellamp, but I don't think it actually applies. It's really weird.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's like, is that a bug? Is that a bug? I don't know if it's a bug.
You know, we don't need to call things out. I'm just glad after like 4 months of Fury Swipes having 2 different durations in the tooltip, they fixed that.
Yes.
Right? That made me a happy chap.
All right. Let's pay attention to the blocks here in mid. Almost identical. Very, very small edge to mage with the range creep on the high ground.
Yeah, but Ace, of course, should be able to CS relatively easily and harass PA at the same time.
Yeah, Ace absolutely fine. Courier coming out early as the standard. Nobody in the position to snipe. So early edge to the radius there.
Meanwhile, top NiP have committed 3 heroes here to begin with. It's going to be tough to find a kill, especially seeing Specs, who did level in the Shadow Wave at level 1.
Yeah. That's definitely not something that we've been seeing from these Rubiks.
Oh, no, definitely not. The Dazzles tend to go for the poison touch. They aggress. The Rubik has no standard Fate Bolt. They have, yeah, they are tri-laning, so he just wants to sustain and keep his Timber alive. I mean, it kind of makes sense to an extent, I guess, but I'm not Timber Sanking. But yeah, the Sanking, he can hide to, like, a decent amount, but if he gets jumped on, the Shadow Wave could be the difference. I
mean, one thing I think you can already point to is that 33 is not suffering like you would expect down here on his Beastmaster against this dual lane.
Well, it's definitely not. He's just... I think it's to do with the boar. The boar, like the change to the damage type really has enabled you to harass out this low armor supports like Phoenix.
That's a really good point, and it's something that people aren't talking about. I mean, look at this damage that MNT is taking from 33, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted to mess around with this camp, and 33 is like, oh, okay, fine. You know, with the board averages you were talking about, just the fact that Beastmaster is very underrated as a right clicker. He just stood there.
MNT's like, I don't care. I got the ball. I got my money. That's all that matters on the world. And he's got a salve. He's got plenty of tangos. Just getting rid of the boars in these early levels does do a lot to enable him to exist in the lane.
Oh, Modern, don't miss that range creep. All right, he's got Soul Ring, though. He's going to do great in this lane.
Yeah, he's already off to a great start. 14-6 to the 5-0 33. While he might not be pressured, this Beastmaster is definitely not getting his last hits.
I'm telling you, though, these lanes are a little bit weird. Like, NiP is really happy with how they're going, and Vega doesn't seem to be making the adjustments.
No, instead they're almost getting the crap kicked out of them. In the mid lane, Mage almost died to Meepo here. I'd say solo, but he's not truly solo.
Yeah, isn't Meepo ever.
Depends how bad your micro is, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. You know, at my 4K level, yeah, the answer is probably yes. Okay.
You know what? Don't worry. You pass the hurdle of having invokers that don't know how to invoke, so they just build right-click invoker.
Okay, yeah, that makes me want to uninstall. Even
Mage, this aggression will be
All
punished.
right, there you go.
I mean, he'll take a decent amount of damage, and this is the difference with that point and ransack. You just get value. I just feel like watching this mid lane because last game you looked away and Mage
and it's done, yeah.
Yeah, he was crumbling. It was against Fodder in that game, but this time around it's just hard to see how the PA can really contest this. Even when you get level 6, the crit is big, but it's not really I'm gonna instantly win the lane big.
Yeah, and that it was important right there that it was MNT that won the Haste Rune lottery because I think if Peter had won that Mage could have been in some trouble. But we're going to get some action top anyway, and Kezu might be in a little bit of trouble here. Rotation in from MNT coming in to contest.
Well, you say a little bit of trouble, Alan. That looks like a lot of trouble.
Fair enough.
And they did actually force the rotation from MNT, and he achieved nothing with it either.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I'm looking at Fada. So far, he's actually gone for double point Ray 5 Blast, which is pretty standard. He's got 2 summons with the Mortal Strike already. And this is the kind of lane the Phoenix never want to come to. It's bad enough for the Beastmaster and the Boar, but those little Skelly Bros, the damage adds up quickly when you have 0 armor.
And you see the plan coming to fruition here for Vega. I think MNT. I thought MNT was going to rotate into this top lane actually a little bit earlier, because Timber 1v1. Once you get Timber to level 3, Timber 1v1 versus Beastmaster is just fine. Oh, Mage getting messed with a little bit here.
Yeah, he's getting net on the spot. They've got the follow-up route, and he's gone.
And Dazzle did not have a skill point engraved there, was in range.
Yeah,
couldn't help, and he might be giving up his own life as a result.
They're going to chase through. The Fire Spirits come out. They need to final tap. They can't find the Ray Fire Blast. Actually goes out to MNT. He has got the dive to escape, though, and one of these little Skelly Bros is in the wrong place.
Soxa was in range for another right click there and just turned around.
He had the Fire Spirits on him. He couldn't attack.
That's true. That's true.
I think he just didn't. He weighed up. Like, he knew he was never going to be in range long enough. So basically, all you're doing is standing there and potentially taking damage.
Okay, and that is all right. And that is a level 2 Fire Spirits. That's I mean, the attack speed soul is very good at level 1 anyway.
That is true. And then on top of that, it's nighttime, so it's like the chances are even less because then you lose vision, not just having them out of range. Oh my god, look at 33 right now. He is actually full 2 levels behind Madara.
Yeah, I mean this is what's going to happen in this matchup when the Timber is given help for that long. I mean, if Timber at least has to play against Beastmaster at level 1 and 2, this lane can.
33.
Oh,
he's
no!
gone. He casually walks under the tower as he gets level 6.
Yeah. I wasn't ready for that, and I don't think 33 was ready for that either.
By the time he realized it was happening, it was too damn late. The creep wave, it was perfectly timed by Madara because the creep wave was just about to get under the tower.
Right.
The radiant one. So he was just going to stack up reactive arms at that stage. And actually, oh wow, 33 is going top. He said, I can't deal with this. We need a solution. Although, you know, Beastmaster, he can somewhat gank with the boars now, but this isn't exactly a high impact gank.
And this is a really neat concept. I was worried about these lanes for Vega, but I mean, I guess their concept was we're going to help this Timber. We're going to stay a level longer than we ordinarily would. We're going to get him to level 4 instead of 3, and from that point, he just, I mean, 33 can't lane anymore. That's really clever.
Now you've got a scenario where Timbersaw can just go wherever and deal with whichever threat is the biggest. At the moment, he chose to go mid. And it's this type of hero that kind of has to be ahead. Timbersaw doesn't really... Like, if he's behind, he doesn't really recover. It's not a hero renowned for being able to get it back in the game.
Oh, okay. All right. I gotta give him credit.
They found him. Dust is there. Pyro Strike turns around. Damage on the 33 with the Sandstorm as well. He needs to get out of it. Kezu, though, he's going to fall. Maybe next time we'll dive away to safety before he gets stunned in the face.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to chalk this up to me just having woken up. Oh boy, Madara in a little bit of trouble. Meepo dealing a ton of damage there with 4 levels in that ransack.
Sustains.
You know, as we talked about, that this is the point in the game when it is most significant. All of a sudden, Miner is sitting there with multiple whirling deaths and his ult active, and Ace just doesn't care. Ace has 2 clones hitting him with ransack, and he almost died.
And that's the other thing. That's part of your damage you can't have taken away from you, right? You can get rid of some of his agi, but you're dealing magic damage. If you're against a strength hero, you'd be very happy. But against an agi hero, just look at the effect. Timbersaw taking way too much damage. We'll be able to chain away, but he is done intimidating this Meepo. More on the bot. They're going to go here. They jump around to Fada. Poison touches on him. He doesn't have 6. He actually needs to hit this creep. Can he get it in time? No. They glyph. They know about it. They knew exactly what he wanted to do. Fada, he's going to go down here.
That's clever. You gotta give credit, Vega, a ton of credit for being aware of exactly what was going on there.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh.
Especially with the rotation coming in from Saxa, because that would have turned around the fight. Oh, beautifully done. And last Wraith King does not have 6 yet. At least he'll get to save it for maybe a better opportunity when he actually gets it.
I gotta say, like, if these teams are not both of the minor, I'm actually gonna be very sad. Like, it's a very clever early game. There's a ton of little things. You know, from that game to PPD going down.
10 HP, you almost got away.
No, he's not. Madara's not going to miss that chain.
And in fairness, Nahaz, you're talking about these 2 teams making it to the minor. There's still other big teams. You know, got like OG, for example.
Yeah.
There's a lot of competition. Oh, PPD. Looking at my eyes, says the mage, but nope. Pexu's nearby. And Sax is a little bit too late to get a lift opportunity. I think they might, but Mage blurs up. They decide against it, and they realize they've just been bamboozled as the runes get picked up. And Meepo, he actually snuck in though. He'll get one of them and get a kill on the Pexi.
Yeah, nice timing there. Absolutely no chance. Did he have a level engrave? No, he still doesn't have it. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's just like this type of hero. Like you have to wait until 5. I think is usually the point at which you can justify a point engrave. If you have to do it earlier, you kind of lost on the skill build.
No, 202 is absolutely the standard, and it should be. If you look at these skills for Dazzle right now.
Madara, this is interesting. There's no trees to your side of the map. He's telling plays to Faybolt. The follow-up net. They're gonna get him. It's gonna be close. He can't get away.
Oh god, the 3rd clone with 4 points in ransack, man. And it's only 2 points in poof. That is not what is doing the damage there.
Absolutely. It's just this early game pressure, and it's so effective because remember, ransack is pure damage. So there's nothing Timbersaw can deal. To deal with that.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think I think you hit the nail on the head, and that's why this Timbersaw is all of a sudden feeling very squishy. I mean, he had a lot of stacks of He had a lot of stacks with 4 points in reactive armor right there, and it just didn't matter. Just Meepo absolutely chewed through him.
And this is the thing, it's Meepo's game, building a big lead already, but this is what the hero does. But so far, Ace's movements around the map have netted a decent amount of kills. What he needs now is for his team to start transitioning to tower pushes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of the scary thing. And NiP, the other thing is that as good as your individual heroes have been looking in the last few minutes of the game, you still haven't fully closed the gap with the early economy advantage that NiP had from their lanes.
Oh, they're trying desperately. Like, good news for the side of Vega is that 33, he's still in recovery mode. He does have 6 now, so you're looking to see him smoke up and make a primal role play very soon.
Well, but I don't even think he needs to... Okay, so that is going to be the mentality for most Beastmaster players. In this patch, I'm not sure that's the right mentality. I think your mentality ought to be, let's push a tower.
So what's the Sand King mentality then? Because he's smoked up.
You got 2 points in the order, man.
He do indeed. He's going to push in with a double ball, but look at this. The smoke, they try and move in. The ace is not a target you want, though. And, well, the smoke is wasted. That's a lot of time Sand King has committed to doing nothing.
This is good boy, Neta. Man, this guy is just... He is such a smart player. I don't think people appreciate. You know, he's not trying to smoke up and make the desperation play to get back in the game. He's got the Vlads, which I absolutely loves the first time in one Beast Path. He's doing what he should with it, pushing towers. And if he can get out of this...
He forced the Madara rotation. He will lose his poor little ball. Actually, they want to turn around on Madara. Going to lift him back in the Storm Sandstorm. They steal the Willing Death as well, but the egg gets dropped. Pretty early, actually. They're going to chase through 33. He's got the primal roar, but he didn't want to commit it. He will go down.
I don't know why you try and go on a level 10 Timbersaw right there. You're a level 6 Beastmaster, man. Even with 3 heroes against 2, right? That's just... It's not going to happen for you. I mean, Dazzle comes in, he just got his level 6 off that. He didn't need to do it.
Problems arise when you try and make these moves. You need to realize, like, it's when you get a bad start like this and you don't really kind of clock on to just how little you do.
And 33 is one of those players that doesn't usually fall victim to that mentality, but you do feel strong with those 2 supports there.
Definitely do. And actually, look at this right now. Madara is looking interestingly strong. We're seeing a Solar Crest build on a Timbersaw.
This could be a nice smoke play for NiP, though. If they take the right angle, the smoke gets revealed by the Phoenix. Just a little bit of a fortuitous movement right there. They are going to try for the Roshan here. This is going to go down very, very quickly, and this is something that is going to get your Beastmaster right back into the game.
It absolutely is, and as the Ransack pure damage is just making this so damn quick. It's going to be slows coming out from the Phoenix, but no egg means they're not friend. That was the biggest thing about that drop on 33 in the top lane, is because the egg got committed. It meant that Vega lost half of the Roche defense.
I really like these teams. Those are very heady plays that we're seeing coming out from both sides right now. Little lift on MNT in the jungle. Soxon needs to get out of here.
He's not getting out. He's not getting out at all. He's going to go down. The balls are arriving, but Beastmaster won't be able to get there in time. That Mage will just farm him up.
And a nice little timing here with the blink coming out from the Rift King. No, what?
Meepo just melts through him. Now the E-Blade slow on a Pexi moving forward here. He throws out the Poison Touch, but I'm afraid you're going home in a body bag. He'll use the Shallow Grave to buy a little bit of time, but he's ruined on the spot courtesy of the Earthbinds. Meepo gaming, folks. That is now a 4K lead over the closest competitor on the side of Vega.
Okay, Caster Curse? I mean, you need to understand that they are very strong right now. When you get that Rubik kill, you need to get the hell out of there.
But they're feeling a little bit greedy, and Timbersaw, he learned that the hard way. Go up for punishment right now, and as a result, well, look at this. NiP can push in because they have got the Beastmaster here alongside the Meepo. That's an easy tower for them.
That just tells me that Vega may be underestimating just how strong this Meepo is right now. He's level 15, man.
He's definitely stacking up levels quick, and this is especially after the Timbersaw. You saw how quickly he dies. This is a hero that we said it needs to snowball. It's not just the gold factor; it's the level factor as well.
That's absolutely right. I mean, I thought he was going to be fine against the Meepo when he got that level. When he got level 11 off that exchange in the top lane. He seemed reluctant to take the XP talent or the spell amp. Like, he didn't even level a talent at 10, which I'm kind of okay with, because if you took the XP, you can see the justification, but when you see how quickly you die with this Meepo... 100%. Ace is sitting at 16. you can't make mistakes at 15 minutes against a Meepo when he's doing well in a game like that.
Speaking of the Meepo,
they're just
he's
gonna
making more
kill
mistakes.
him.
Madara has been found. The Aegis drop these epicenter. The bar strike through. They'll pop the Aegis, but that's all they're going to get. Fada, they're going to move away. Does level through the reincarnate. The Primal Roar has been used on the Kezu, so he can't follow up. 33 getting low. They'll turn around. They'll get rid of the Sand King. Buybacks there, but Dazzle left alone. There won't be any assistance time. Rayfire Blast as they jump in. Phoenix needs to back off here.
Yeah,
and they on the high ground.
Max.
Oh, they go more. Meepo, he finds the Phoenix. The Burrow Strike connects. Now, the return Burrow Strike, the stolen one, onto the PA means it's going to go down the Rampage for Ace, making a double at this rate. Shallow Grave comes out, the buyback by Maze. They're going to move back the low HP. Meepo, the rest are going to pursue. Kezu will be able to Burrow Strike away in time, and Ace will retreat to his backup Meepo as they get out of the base with a kiss farewell and a Rampage to, well, tide them over until they come back for the rest of your base.
It just feels like Vega... It felt like they understood how this game was going, but it feels like once they saw the Meepo get Aegis, they just kind of, I don't know, they've just been playing loose. They're just not, they either didn't fully internalize just how strong NiP was, and they've had several demonstrations of that. By the way, this is a killer pickup from Fata. You see the pipe on the Wraith King?
Yes, he's got it coming out now. He knows he's just about sustaining.
It's such a good read for how this game is going right now.
Especially when you think about everything here, because like you look at the Meepo, and we were talking about how Ransack starts to just tick off, and it's not that great as the game goes on. But you've got Vlad's, you've also got the vampiric aura from the Wraith King. This is insane amounts of sustain for right clicks.
Yeah, it really is, and it's the funny thing is like the item if Vegas somehow manages to prolong this game to like 30 or 40 minutes, this item purchase is going to look like total crap. But it is absolutely, I will stand behind it as absolutely the best win you the game right now item.
Oh, I agree.
I think the next two fights, Vega is just going to need to outplay so hard just to survive. Like a 3-for-2 trade by Vega right now, I think would be a really good play from them.
I think for Vega, the scenario, like you said, they kind of like started playing loose. I think what it really came down to is when Madara kept dying to Meepo. And it's like, I'm not looking, don't get it wrong, folks. We're not looking to flame Madara or anything. It's more this new Meepo, the new way that he interacts against a hero like Timbersaw. You used to be fine against that.
No, what you're seeing, guys, is learning, okay? Pro players have to learn the new patch too, and you can't necessarily learn the patch by looking at the notes and theory crafting. I mean, all of a sudden you get into a game like this, you're Timber, you're like, I'm having a good game. They secured my lane bottom. I rotated mid. That was what I wanted to do. But all of a sudden my hero is weaker than it should be. Oh, yeah, it's this pure damage, fixed scaling ransack thing. Okay.
And problems are arising, actually, because you can see NiP, they've let up a little bit. They're kind of waiting for the next Roche or the side of Vega to force a fight. And all the while this is happening, that's a completed Skadi on the Meepo.
Yeah, this Meepo, E-Blade Blink Scotty at before the 20-minute mark. This is as farmed as I've seen a Meepo in a game at this level.
Look at the net worth comparison. His opponents don't even have half his net worth.
This is like Abed Meepo in like random SEA game.
Let's see.
This is what you used to see from him.
Let's see the impact of this new item pickup, because they are ready to go with the Skadi now grab. There's the blink in. They go straight on the Dazzle, going to get him low. Forcing him to celebrate himself, but no. On the side, they find the Sang. Primal Roar comes out. They turn around the PA as well. He's locked down. Gaze is dragged in. The E-Blade to just shotgun him down. He doesn't even get to attack once. And they're in full retreat. There's a chase going. Fada blinks forward. The stun comes out. Once again on Dazzle. This time he'll secure the kill. The net's connected on Madara as well. Timbersaw has no escape from the Meepo. He will go down. And this is looking like it might be over.
Okay, just as like a point, look at where that hawk is. Okay, you can't set up like that to defend in the trees against the Beastmaster without like a smoke or something.
Absolutely, they go fast right away.
Exactly where they were, and the GG's call. This was oh man.
That was okay. The first game was very tense, but this one was very one-sided.
Honestly, this is one of those where I have to go back and watch the replay a few times. Because I said at the beginning, I didn't think this was a GG Meepo pick. But again, as we go on the game and we see the way that this new Meepo passive Ransack interacts with Timbersaw, you gotta wonder.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
There are many questions that will be asked, but
what a game.
I mean, I don't even play me, but I want to go back and watch that replay and just see the way he plays that out, because you can't underestimate the Ransack. The Ransack, the new Ransack is amazing, as we saw there. Just the fact it's pure damage. There's no way to reduce that.
I mean, look at the hero damage. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Ace, 22k damage. The next is Saxa with 5.4k. And Fata knew exactly what his the pipe purchased by Fata. I mean, he knew exactly what his role is in this game. It was you blink in, you activate pipe, and you be annoying. Man, this was, well, credit where credit's due. I thought Vega were gonna be able to play a little bit better defense in this game, but when Meepo sneaks a Roche like that and you get a couple of good fights, the game is all of a sudden just out of reach.
Well, I'm just going to check the schedule now, because we have got more to come here, of course. The action never ceases here on the BTS channel. We should be doing... It should be NiP versus Hippomaniac. So I believe they are going to get... I think it should be a 30-minute break before we're back with that. It's going to be another best of 2. So NiP off to a good start. Let's see if they can crush Hippomaniacs, who were, for a lot of people, a surprise showing in the major qualifiers. Well,
very cool. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, we'll go to a short break. That'll give us a chance to sort everything out. Then we'll be back with that series. Stay tuned, guys.